What is going on, Bills Mafia, Built in Buffalo fam? Welcome to another episode of the Triple Coverage Podcast. As you can see, only two of us tonight. Unfortunately, Lance unable to be on tonight, but he should be back next week. But kind of got a fun show for you guys today. Going to be kind of more of a laid back show, I guess, just with it kind of being that period of.
So laid back because Lance isn't here.
That, of course, because Lance isn't here. But, it's also just like it's that period where a lot of what you're hearing for the next 2-3 weeks is the same few things of a lot of, just repetition with players talked about things they can do. So if you guys have any questions at all tonight, put them in the comments. We'll try to get to as many as we can. But we're going to just start with some quick thoughts. Bills did make a move in their coaching staff. They did add John Fox as their senior assistant coach, former NFL head coach for those who don't know. So they do get somebody with a little bit of experience there to help Joe Brady in his first year. Scott, what do you think of John Fox coming in?
Yeah, I like him. I think he'll be maybe a similar role to what Carmichael will be for Brady because John Fox is on the defensive side of the ball. So he could kind of be that for Jim Leonhard. Jim Leonhard hasn't called plays before at the NFL level. He has at Wisconsin, but hasn't called plays at the NFL level. John Fox obviously has. And sticking to our theme of rating the Broncos, he was the Broncos head coach during the beginning half of the Peyton Manning era. So a guy with a ton of experience. He's coached all around the league, surprisingly not with the Bills before, given the number of places he's been. But yeah, I think it's great that they're going to have a previous head coach on staff to help Brady, like you mentioned, and to help Jim Leonhard call and play. So I'm excited about it. It can't hurt to have someone with that much football experience in the room. So I think it's a good move for Joe Brady and for Jim Leonhard.
Yeah, I heard this morning they were talking about it on WGR about how Bean had an interview with or was interviewed by somebody, and there was an article put out about how Bean mentioned that when they hired whoever they would have hired, they wanted somebody there, especially if it was a first-year head coach that they were bringing in, somebody on the staff that has had former NFL head coaching experience. Like that was a requirement. And I think it was Bean was the one who kind of said that, hey, John Fox is a guy that we should look at. He was with him in Carolina. So what do you think of that aspect of it, of Bean kind of saying, no, we're bringing somebody else in to just help you in this process?
Yeah, I think it's smart. Like for all the reasons I just said, a guy who's called plays, who's run teams, he's been the head coach for 3 different teams, and senior defensive coach role. He's been out of coaching for a little bit, hasn't coached since 2023. So you would think it would have to be the right opportunity to bring him out, and you would think that Buffalo seems like that's it for him. So yeah, I like it. You can never have too much experience, especially when nobody else on the staff has NFL head coaching experience before. And we have Joe Brady on the offensive side who's called plays, but hasn't been a head coach. Jim Leonhard hasn't called plays on the defensive side. So, yeah, getting someone in like John Fox, I think can only help them in the building.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was something I think, with anybody that, even if it was somebody else, it was Udinsky or if it was even Kubiak, it would be nice to have somebody like him. I know it's another, people are not going to like another Carolina connection, but it is a Carolina connection who's a guy who's been around the league for a long time and knows his stuff. So I think it's a good move by them. I think it's always smart to bring in extra help, never a bad move. So yeah, we'll see how involved he is and what he specifically is planned to be brought in to do. Probably as training camp and everything, the off season goes on. So we usually then will go into around the league news. I'll usually bring some news up. There hasn't really been too much news, at least headline worthy news that's worth talking about. So we're going to skip that this week. At the end of the show, we'll probably talk a little bit about the Olympics with what's been going on with Team USA and just around the sporting world there. But before we get into free agent targets, which I already see some questions about guys potentially being brought in, trades even brought up as well, we do want to just give a shout out to our sponsor or our sponsors. First, 716 Barbershop. I know Lance goes there. Unfortunately, I personally do not. Obviously, you don't, Scott, because you're all the way out in Baltimore. But we know Lance, obviously, every show you can see that he's got the nice cut there from them from 7-1 Slicks. So be sure to, if you're looking for a haircut, book with
it
them.
takes a lot to make Lance look good, and somehow they do it. So that should tell you you should go there.
So if you're looking for somewhere to go, you don't know where to go check out 7-1 Slicks Barbershop. Big Tree Inn as well. I live right around the corner from Big Tree Inn. I could probably walk there right now if I wanted to. Great place to go get some food. We obviously do the pregame with them before every home game. Scott and Lance are out there early in the morning. I meet them as much as I can. I know Scott's always wishing I was there every second because he misses me so much. But Big Tree Inn. I believe they either Tuesdays, I want to say, might do a deal with wings.
I think Thursday's wing night. Tonight's wing night. Go get some wings.
Tuesday or Thursday.
Finish watching our show, then go get some wings.
Yeah. So if you want Thursday night, go. Even next week, get them. Sit down, watch us next week. We'll be here. Lance will be here too. You can let him know, and he'll be super happy. So Big Tree Inn, Lancaster Indoor Bounce House. I know Lance as well did use them and book them for his little son's birthday party, and they were phenomenal, very professional, everything. So if you're looking for you have a nephew,
you're looking to bounce around.
Yeah, even if it's just you yourself, go check out Lancaster Indoor Bounce House, and then Wing Nuts as well. Last but not least, Wing Nuts. You've seen us do a lot of different things with them when it comes to player interviews and just going there as well, just to get some content for you guys. But as you know, everybody loves Wing Nuts. Great food, great atmosphere. If you haven't been there, which is probably very, very small percentage of you watching, but if you haven't, definitely go check out Wing Nuts. And be sure to like, share. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, whatever you're watching on, be sure to like and share and subscribe on YouTube if you are watching on YouTube. So that is all for the sponsors and everything. So let's get right into our free agents targets.
No Olympic talk?
We'll do the Olympic talk at the end, right at the end of the show, for anybody else hanging out. But I see some questions coming in. You want to? Huh?
People are fired up about women's hockey today.
I know they are, but we'll get to that at the end. We gotta talk Bills early on, right? We gotta talk Bills. We gotta talk about who could potentially be a Bill next season. Do you want to get into questions first, or do you want to just go into a position that we were gonna look into?
Well, the first position we have on the list is wide receivers, and both the questions that we have are about wide receivers. So 2 stones, 1 bird.
Yeah, there you go. So we'll start off with the first question here from Felipe. He's asking about Alec Pierce, free agent, and trading for Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, that's a very aggressive offseason in terms of receiver if Brandon Beane were to go do that. I'm not sure what it would take to go get Brian Thomas Jr. You'd assume a first-round pick, maybe a second, probably more a second because of just his down year this past year. So, Scott, what do you think about either trading for Brian Thomas Jr., signing Alec Pierce, or both?
I definitely don't think they'll do both. I could see one or the other. I would also be really surprised if the Jaguars are interested in trading BTJ. He had kind of a down year this season. Got a little bit better towards the end. There's some question marks on, is he afraid to get hit? He kind of gets alligator arms across the middle. He kind of jogs some routes. But it came out that they're going to have Travis Hunter be a part-time receiver, full-time corner next season, which I think was probably more the plan. And I think without Travis Hunter, it would be BTJ, Jacoby Myers, and then they have Parker Washington. I don't know if Parker Washington or Jacoby Myers are really number 1 X outside receivers the way that BTJ is. So I would be very surprised if the Jaguars are willing to move him unless a team offered a first-round pick. Maybe they would if that's the case, because the Jags don't have their first-round pick this year. They traded that to go get Travis Hunter. So if they want to get back into the first round, maybe that's a move they'd be interested in making. It would surprise me. And I would also be surprised if the Bills were to give up a first-round pick for him. If they are, I think they'd probably like to get someone a little bit more established. But it would be splashy. He has shown, flashes of being a top receiver, but hasn't proved it a ton yet. Alec Pierce, I think, is the guy who's really interesting. He was on my list of receivers to talk about. He's going to get paid, though. They're saying he's going to get, $20 million a year, be a top paid wide receiver. I don't know if we're going to have, excuse me. If they pull all the cap levers, so maybe be around $30-40 million in cap space. Sure, they can get creative with contracts, but I don't know if they're going to want to throw that much of it at one guy. But if there was a guy in this free agent class to do it with, it's probably Alec Pierce. He would, we saw what Brandon Cooks did as a downfield receiver. Pierce would fit that role, so it would be interesting.
Yeah. Brian Thomas Jr., I'm kind of back and forth on with him. I liked him coming out. I knew there were obviously some of those that whispers of his issues, that maybe he doesn't really care too much about the game, and we saw a little bit of it this year. For me, it would depend on what you gave up for him for me to like it. If you give up a first, I'm probably not going to be too happy, just because I feel like you should go elsewhere, and just draft a guy that you can then have for guaranteed the next 4, possibly 5 years locked up if you can hit on him. Because, and it would also be telling, I said it during the season and when the trade deadline was coming around, I think it would say a lot if the Jags were willing to give up Brian Thomas Jr. for anything less than a first, like you said. Even for a first, I think it'd just be shocking that they would say, yeah, we're going to give him up for a first, for either likely worse than what we got or used to pick him, or less. It would just be telling to me. And so I, as much as I would still like it if they went and got him, and it ended up being a trade that I was fond about, I would probably pass on Brian Thomas Jr. Alec Pierce is an interesting one to me because I do really like him, but I'm not spending 25 million on him. I'm just, that personally, that's too much for me.
Yeah,
I don't,
for a guy who's had 1,000-yard season that was 1,003 yards, and other than that, been kind of underwhelming. Like,
and he's not like a production receiver either. He is a big play, deep threat. That's really what he was until this year. Everybody thought, oh, he's just a deep threat. Until this year, everybody, that was his entire thought behind who Alec Pierce was. And obviously, players can develop, and he definitely is developing into a phenomenal player. It's just 25 million is a huge gamble. He better than be that guy that can come out and be a real difference maker on this offense. I know that we used to see this comment here. Anybody watching that's doubting him, and it's not, I don't know if it's necessarily me saying I'm doubting him. It's just, it's just that 25 million, if it doesn't pan out, we're going to have comments, and sorry, Bob, I'm going to pull this up. It's not anything at you specifically. Comments like this of, we paid 25 million to Alec Pierce if he doesn't live up to that. And then it's going to be a big talk. So personally, Alec Pierce is one that if you can get him for a good deal, yeah, of course. You can get him for even and what he's projected at, like 18, I think was his projection. He's more now talking about 2025. Then sure, but I think there's better options at better prices here, because like a guy that we're definitely going to talk about, which I'll bring up now, like Rashid Shaheed, like how much different or how much better is Alec Pierce than Rashid Shaheed from what we've seen in their careers? Is Alec Pierce better? I would say so, but is he that much better where if you can get Shaheed for probably he's probably going to get 15, 14, 13, like around there? Maybe more. I mean, maybe it could be more.
Receiver market's crazy now.
That is true. But like, if you can get him for $6-7 million less, like, is that much of a downgrade where you're going to be upset? I mean, it's still hard to say like, oh, I would be happy if I paid $15 million to Rashid Shaheed. But that's the question, is like, is Alec Pierce worth that much? I'm not sure. And I think he is going to get paid. So I think he's going to get, I think it might be even like 27. You're seeing guys get paid like that much nowadays for a receiver, where it's like,
he's getting that.
I mean, if a team really believes in him, it could be like one of those deals where it's 27, it's that front loaded and not much guaranteed towards the back end of it. I could see it being that, him betting on himself, but I mean, we'll see when it comes to what he actually gets. But I probably am going to say the amount that he'll get is not going to be something I would want to do.
Yeah, agreed.
We do have another question. This is trade, not free agency. But Bob, again, what about to see if Waddle is still available? real quick for me, I from what I've heard and what I know myself, the Dolphins, maybe before their GM trade change, was like serious about trading Waddle. I don't think they were very much interested in trading Waddle after the GM got fired, but even
And I don't
more
think he was
so,
ever really available to us.
yes, and that's it. I don't think Miami ever wanted to, like, because think about it, if you're the Bills and you have a guy that you want to get rid of, or that you're thinking, hey, I'll get rid of, I can get a lot out of him because he's valuable. You're not going to trade him to any of the, if you were a Bills fan, they had a guy like Waddle and they were in Miami's position where they're blowing it up and the Bills were going to blow it up. And they said, we're going to go trade now one of the younger pieces that we could actually build around to a division rival. I think a lot of us would be very upset. I'd be very upset. So I don't think Miami was ever serious. If they are, go give them a call and see what they want. But I don't think they were ever serious unless the Bills were going to give 2 first-round picks and a second for him. So that's at least what I think about it. What do you think about Waddle?
Yeah, it would be great, but I don't think he was ever really available to us. The story that came out that it was if they only would have given a 2026 first, like he'd been a Bill right now. Like Green came out and said that wasn't true. I would have been surprised if, like you said, the Dolphins are willing to trade him in the division, but they definitely are in blow it up mode. Maybe now in the offseason, there's a bit more time to wheel and deal. Like I think Waddle would be probably like best case scenario. They could go out and get a receiver. I just don't know if he's available because they do want to rebuild. He's a good guy to rebuild around. He's not that old, still, very productive. They got rid of Tyreek Hill. If they have Tua or if they go get a young QB, like they have to throw the ball to somebody. Like he could be a guy that they see as a build around piece rather than a trade out piece. So it'd be ideal, but very unlikely, I think.
Yeah. Let us know if as we talk through players, let us know if we miss anybody that you guys want us to talk about. I have one that I want to talk about, but I want to have you go first to see who you want to start off with for guys you're going to pick. So who to you, as long as there's no questions that I'm missing. Yeah, there isn't. Sorry. So who to you is like the number one guy that you want to talk about first?
So we're sticking in the receiver position group, and someone who's realistic, and I'd be really interested, I would say, is Hollywood Brown. He's a speedy outside receiver, kind of a thing that the Bills have been missing. He wouldn't be too expensive, so I would like to get him in addition to maybe somebody else. But throw Hollywood Brown $8 to $10 million for 1 year. He was productive with the Chiefs this year. He's still fast. He's going to miss a few games because he's hurt, but I think Hollywood Brown would fit in really well. He was a guy I was interested this past offseason. The Chiefs brought him back. So, what would you think about bringing in a guy like Hollywood?
Yeah, I agree though that with you where it'd have to be another receiver move in there as well with him. To me, if you get a guy like Marquise Brown, to me he's very similar to the level of player, not entirely plays out, but level of player of a Brandon Cooks, where it's like, okay, like that's a guy that I'd be very happy to be as a third receiver, fourth receiver on my team, as a guy that can come in and be reliable. Guy. So I would be fine with it. Again, like there's so many receivers in this that are kind of in that, okay, well, we don't fully know, or we know exactly what we're going to get, and it's not anything unbelievable in this free agency class. So yeah, I would definitely go for Marquise Brown. Now, here's a question for you though that
Hold on. I will say to Mike here, Brady and Moss never won a championship. So what are we learning from
them? They didn't actually. That is true. I did see somebody was talking about Moss and Brady about how like, oh well, they couldn't even get it done, and I'm forgetting the context now. But
David Tyree.
I'll have to remember. I guess though, my question though to you is, so you're talking about Marquise Brown, and you said you probably bring in another guy. Let's just say they go 2 free agent receivers, and Marquise Brown's one of them. Who would be another guy that if all they did at receiver was sign 2 free agent receivers, Marquise Brown would be one, the other one you're about to come up with, who would you be satisfied with to pair with Marquise Brown to bring in?
I think it would have to be an outside number 1 type guy. If that's if they bring, but that's the thing, because if they pay one of them that much, they maybe don't bring in a guy like Hollywood Brown. I actually looked at Hollywood's contract this past season; it was less than I thought it was. So this cap number is only about $5 million, and maybe that could be even less this year. Like maybe they signed for like a 1 year, $3 million deal. But if they pair him with an Alec Pierce, or I don't necessarily want this, but like a Mike Evans. That's a name that's been thrown out there a lot. Again, I don't necessarily want Mike Evans. I think he's injury prone and over the hill for his prime. But like if you pair him with like a really strong X receiver, I think he would fit in really well.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike Evans was a guy that I actually would be a fan of. I'd probably rather pay Mike Evans 1 year, $15 million than Pierce multiple years for 20 plus, like personally. Just because I think he's a guy that, yeah, he's definitely not peak Mike Evans still, but he's still a guy that can really be a weapon for your offense. And throughout his career, he's never had major injury problems. It's just been, as he's aged. And this year,
it's been hamstring stuff, soft
yeah,
tissue stuff. And then
so there is that risk, but I would like Mike Evans, a guy like him, another guy, Deebo Samuel. I personally would not want to get a guy like him. A guy that I'm going to bring up, and this is one of my favorites that I really would love. And before I say it, actually, real quick, Bob, Pickens is expected to get franchise tagged as well, just because I just saw this pop in. He is projected to get franchise tagged, so unless you trade for him, which I don't think Dallas will want to do, because they did trade for Pickens, and franchising him kind of says that they want to keep him. And Jerry Jones, he's known to play some hardball. So yeah, Pickens unfortunately will probably be off the market. If Lance was here, he'd be. Lance, by the way, is full in on George Pickens. Go do whatever it takes to get him. So he is with you on that. I'd be happy with Pickens. It just would depend on what. Like I'm not paying him $27+ million, which is what I expect, and that's why I'm saying no to him. But sorry, just got off track. A guy that I really would love to see brought in, and I don't think it would cost you that much for what I think he can be, is Romeo Doubs from Green Bay. And now everybody's going to say, oh, we already have a bunch of those wide receiver 2-3s. That's what he was in Green Bay. Green Bay, though, that was the issue, is they had so many of these guys that Doubs for the past 2 years, has been complaining about not getting enough catches. There's been Christian Watson, I think at one point also 2 years ago, said something about getting catches. And like they had so many guys, because I think they even drafted like 3 or 4 in a draft one year. So they just had so many guys where it's like he wasn't able to get a huge target share. But he was good against single coverage. As a guy that can get open, strong hands as well. I think he could be a guy that if you brought him in, now he's not going to be your wide receiver 1, but he can be your high end, in my opinion, number 2 if you need him to be. I think he can be. So Doubs is going to be mine. What do you think about him?
Well, yeah, I like him. I think he's a good player, but that's the other thing with him. Like, if he's our high end wide receiver 2, then who would be wide receiver 1 then? Because I don't think you could bring in him and somebody else. I understand, like, if Kincaid's healthy all year, like, we realistically don't need one, but it certainly felt like it would have helped this season in the playoffs, having somebody who is making those plays instead of 96-year-old Brandon Cooks. So I think if they do, I think they're going to make a swing at receiver this season, if nothing else, to appease people.
I do think, though, with Doubs, like, even if, like, let's say he's the biggest wide receiver move this offseason, and let's just, for argument's sake, say that you bring in Brandon Cooks is back as well, and you roll out Doubs, maybe a 3rd round, 4th round rookie that you draft, and then that's your core there. Because to me, like, yes, I do want to go get a wide receiver 1, but I'm still not in the boat of you. As long as you can get guys that are reliable, which that's the problem, is we have not had any guys that are reliable. Palmer is like our best guy outside Shakir, who's reliable, but Shakir's a slot. Slot to me is completely different. Like a guy that's solely slot is completely different to me. Even like Josh Downs is more valuable than I think his stats say. So disregard Shakir. If you look at who was around and who was in this receiving core, the problem was nobody was reliable at all. And you didn't even have, I think, a low end wide receiver 2 in there, did you? Like you didn't even have that. So if you can get a guy that is a high end 2, borderline a guy that can maybe be low end wide receiver 1, which I think Doubs can be a high end 2, a guy that can be that reliable target. Hey, if Kincaid's banged up a little bit, or if the run game's not going, or if you just need a big play, I think Doubs can be that guy. So that's where I'm at with Doubs. Like, if he's still young, he's about to turn 26. Like, I just think if you put him in an offense where he can get 6 targets a game, 7 targets a game, like, he can be a guy that can produce for you. So
like how you say
the way I look
Doubs.
at it. Huh?
I like how you say Doubs.
Doubs? What is it?
I think it's just Dobbs.
Dobbs?
Like,
Whatever.
like Dobby the elf, but with an S.
Spelled like Doubs, in my opinion. But
you're just a phonetic reader.
Yeah. I do want to just highlight this comment as well from B.E. Hollis. If you get Evans, you might as well bring in Hill. Both are broken down. The difference is Tyreek Hill had a major injury on top of you've started. Did not mean to bring that up. You still have seen him start to decline the past 2 or 3 years. And yeah, Mike Evans, you've seen him decline, but he's still been, when he's on the field, he still has been a consistent, reliable guy. That, I mean, even when he came back the game before he got hurt again, like,
yeah, he was awesome.
They were looking
at Thursday night game against the Falcons. Yeah, he was awesome.
And they were targeting him. So that, to me, like, Hill is farther down that road than Mike Evans is to me in terms of how much he's declined. And his Tyreek Hill whole thing is speed. Like,
yeah.
That's tough.
Guy who just had a pretty gnarly knee injury, and that would be a big distraction. Also, I don't even think he wants to come here. Like, I think he hates Buffalo. But when your tune changes when anybody offers you millions of dollars. But yeah, I would be very surprised if Tyreek Hill was a Buffalo Bill, and I don't necessarily want him to be.
This is the last thing I'll bring up about, I guess, offensive weapons, because we're obviously not going to be talking about quarterbacks, running backs. That room's pretty set. Dawson Knox, he does have a big cap hit. You can save some money if you trade or cut, whichever you do. What do you think of this idea? Dropping Knox, picking up Isaiah Likely, who is definitely a great athlete. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I like Isaiah Likely. I just don't know if he fits the tight end 2 role here. Great. Like, he blocks kind of, he's definitely more of a receiving tight end than a blocking tight end. I think Knox fits in perfectly. Everybody loves him. He plays his role. He doesn't care that they drafted Kincaid and they kind of stopped throwing him the ball. Like, he doesn't care that he was a 10 touchdown guy and now he, gets 1 target a game. I think Knox will be back, not under the contract he's on now, not at the number he's at now. I think Knox would fit in better than Likely. I think Likely's really good. I thought the Ravens should have picked with him over Mark Andrews and extended Likely and let Andrews walk, but I think they maybe have some of the same concerns. So I like Isaiah Likely. I just don't necessarily know how he fits in with what Knox's role is, unless they're going to change up the offense. Which
the other thing is how much is he going to cost? And if you get rid of Knox, can that number still come in lower than what you would have paid Knox, who already knows the offense, already knows the guys? So I like Likely. To me, if you're going to get rid of Knox, you have to use that money elsewhere. You cannot just use it to get another tight end. I mean, that's the whole reason why you are in this predicament to begin with. At first, the Knox contract to me was not bad at first, but then you go get Kincaid and it's like, okay, well, he's not in that wide receiver.
They signed him after his 10 touchdown year. It was like, oh yeah, here's our tight end for the next 4 years. Great.
So that's the issue has never been necessarily what he can do on the football field. It's just the way that he's utilized here is not, and that goes for any tight end too. I think that comes in is, though they won't be used that much as a receiver. I just am not interested in I'm already not interested in paying Knox as much as he is, but I agree with you that I think he'll be back and they'll either restructure or extend or do something to push money away and not have to pay him as much as he's getting paid. But I don't know if Likely would be a guy that you can bring in and at a price that will be good for the replacement of him. But yeah, like I said, if you're going to get rid of Knox, you got to, I think, go somewhere else with it. But yeah, if they do it though, I'm not going to hate it by any means, even if it like cost us money in the end. But yeah. And Hawes is also there as well. So they could, like I said, just get rid of Knox and say Hawes is going to be our tight end too. Now that is a big gamble for a blocking tight end to then come in, and you have to say, hey, you're in more expanded receiving role than you once were, especially if Kincaid goes down. It's a huge gamble, but I still love Hawes. So yeah, that's it though for that I got for wide receivers, weapons on the offensive side. Obviously there's still a lot of other guys. We mentioned Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings could be a guy that maybe they look at as well. Third and Juwan. Yeah, a little third and Juwan. If you want to bring him in, we talked about Rashid Shaheed a little bit. Wan'Dale Robinson, another very interesting guy as well. Josh Allen's good buddy Christian Kirk, who we actually didn't talk about at all, and he's a guy that very easily could be here and say, hey, I just want to win.
Agreed.
Same with a guy like Keenan Allen. Maybe he says, hey, I want to win, and LA doesn't want me back or something, and I want to come over here. He's a guy now. I wouldn't necessarily love it just because he's getting even older now, but, there's been worse. DeAndre Hopkins, former Bill, maybe another future that the jokes got, because remember for like 2 weeks he was a Bill. Sorry, last guy I will say real quick.
Von Miller's not here to recruit him.
Yeah. One guy I will say real quick is Speedster. If you're looking for I would absolutely love Tyquan Thornton if you bring him in on a cheap deal. So that's just the last guy I'll name. Obviously, Brandon Cooks I'd still like as well. But we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of other names as well that will pop up in rumors in the next few weeks. The next position, though, that we have, if you want to get us started off here with D-line, is this interior or edge or both? Or
yeah, so I kind of put them all in one spot, but I definitely think they're going to bring in a nose tackle, assuming that they're going to shift from the 4-3 or 4-2-5 that they ran with McDermott to more of a 3-4 multi-front kind of an offense with Jim Leonhard. I think they're going to want to bring in a true nose tackle. Maybe Deone Walker can do that, but we don't necessarily know for sure, and I don't know if you want to take that risk. So a couple nose tackles I tossed out: Sebastian Joseph Day, who was, I believe, on the Titans last year. I don't know, he's bounced around a lot, but has played nose. John Franklin Myers, another guy from the Broncos. Maybe he misses Jim Leonhard and all the other coaches we took from them and wants to come over here. And then the last one, DJ Reader, who was on the Lions last season. All of them probably signing like a 1 to 2 year deal and anywhere from like $4 to $8 million. So nothing too crazy expensive, but a guy who can come in and just fill gaps and allow Ed Oliver and Deone Walker and Michael Hoyt and Greg Rousseau to get a lot of one-on-one matchups. They can kind of fill both A gaps, just because I don't know if we necessarily have that guy on the roster right now because you need to before. So what do you think about any or all of those guys and then the other ones you want to add?
Yeah, John Franklin Myers is, a guy that with the connection to Denver makes a ton of sense. I could definitely see him coming in, already kind of knowing what the scheme's going to be and knowing exactly what the plan is with, little tweaks that Leonhard has in there. So, I mean, he's 29. If you can get him on like a 2-year deal, cheap deal, I think it'd be perfect for a guy that you could just bring in and not really have to relearn everything and in that nature. DJ Reader, the only tough part with him is he's one of the top in this class, and this class is not very deep when it comes to this. So could he get more than maybe expected? Definitely. He's another guy about to be 32 in a little bit, around the beginning of the season. So I would definitely like it, but I'm not going to overpay for a guy like him as well. A guy that I want to bring up, though, is Calais Campbell. I know that he's old. He's going to be 40 by the time the season starts. But, man, it just seems like every year he's there and he's like, I'm still got something left. And there was rumors, 2 years ago about him potentially coming here?
Yeah, when he got cut by the Dolphins at the end of the year?
Yeah, I think he went to Jacksonville, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, something like that.
There's a lot of rumors. What is his wife from around here or something like that? I think it was he had some connection to Buffalo, and then he also wants to win. So maybe he's a guy that could say, "I'll come there for $2.5-3 million because I just want to win." And I know you guys are going to have a good chance of winning. So he's a guy that I would be interested in. Interior, though, I'd rather probably either just go draft or see what you got in low end free agency. Like that's how I am with that. I think with
Yeah,
this
we're gonna
defense
need a
being
nose though.
aggressive, huh?
We're gonna need a nose though.
That is true. Unless they think they already have the guy, like you said, unless they think somebody on the roster can be that guy, maybe they go out and trade for somebody. But it's just, I just, are you going to overpay for somebody? I mean, you're probably going to have to with nose tackle at the end of the day. I mean, maybe a little bit, maybe not a ton, but a little bit overpay. We'll have to see. Edge rusher is the one that I also am like kind of back and forth on when it comes to who's a potential player. What would you think about a guy like Khalil Mack? I know, again, older, but UB connection. There was been rumors before. What do you think about that?
I think it would be kind of like similar to the Joey Bosa route, and honestly, even the Von Miller route, but hopefully for a little bit less money. Like I wouldn't hate it when Khalil Mack wasn't hurt last season. He was productive, and he has played in a 3-4. He's a 3-4 like stand up outside backer at his best. So I think he'd fit the system pretty well. I don't think he'd be terribly expensive, and if they save him to pass rushing downs. I think he can be productive. Like I think he fits the system really well. So I wouldn't hate bringing a guy like Khalil Mack home to end his career.
Well, yeah, and that is the report is he is contemplating retiring. If that to me says, yeah, he's only going to play for a winner. He's not going to play for anybody that's not a winner or winning team. And I mean, it'd be a very good pitch to be like, hey, come end your career where your college career was at, and if you win, you have a good chance of winning here. If you do win here, you especially with the UB connection will also be looked at as, hey, this guy, we brought him in and he helped us win a championship in 1 year. Like,
yeah,
it's a good pitch. And another guy that's also older again is like Jadeveon Clowney, who kind of again is a guy that's bounced around the past few years. And he's been just continuing to sign 1 year deals, and it's like,
yeah, that's what he wants. That's his thing. 1 year deal. Yeah.
But he plays well. Like he plays up to his contract. Where it's another guy where it's like, hey, it'd be good to bring a guy that can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And
I think Jadeveon Clowney, by that one hit he made in the Gator Bowl or whatever it was against Michigan, people thought he was going to be like the best player to ever play football. And because he isn't that, people don't think he's any good. But Clowney's great run stuffer. Like I think he'd also be good in a 3-4. He can rush the passer a little bit, but he's better as a run stuffer. So I wouldn't hate that a 1 year deal either. He's probably going to want to skip training camp, and that's fine too.
And no bones about it. I said no more 30+ edge rushers. The only tough part is, and unless you like,
there's not a lot of free agent edge rushers under 30.
And the thing is even if they are, let's say, like, you can go trade for somebody. That would be amazing if you can go trade for Max Crosby or something. But the other problem is when you're in free agency, I mean, Trey Hendrickson, 30+, right? Anybody that is under 30, it's an edge rusher position. They're going to get paid well.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is if you're going to sign somebody to a long-term deal, like Jalen Phillips is probably going to get 3 years, 4 years, probably 3 with 14 million, like Adafe, I can't pronounce his name. Owe from LA, the Chargers again, 27. He's going to get paid. Boye Mafe is going to they're going to get paid, and that's the only way you can do if you can do 1 year deals. Khalil Mack, Jadeveon Clowney, Joey Bosa, like they're gonna be 1 year deals. They're gonna be a little bit cheaper, but they're gonna be guys that want to come win. I mean, even look at Von. Like Von was a guy who 32, 33 when they signed him, 32 I want to say when they signed him.
Sounds right.
Was productive before he got injured.
Tore his ACL, he was awesome.
But he's in a little bit older than what Trey Hendrickson is right now at that time. Like that, you're going to have to do that. That's the tough part. Like, and that's why I'd probably even say like go draft an edge rusher, like go draft a defensive lineman. Save your money, and if you hit on it, you save it down the road as well at one of the most expensive positions that is out there. The same thing with receiver. Go draft one. If you hit on it and you get a guy that you have for the next 4 to 5 years on a cost-controlled contract, obviously easier said than done to hit on all of those. But like
Yeah, but that you're saying like a lot of positions just go draft one, and like yeah, that's ideal. Like you don't want to build your team through free
But
agency.
compared to like
That's
what
the
you can
worst
do
way to
in
do it. But
free
yeah, no,
agency,
I agree with you, but I like that. There's like that's like that would be hitting on like 3 or 4 guys who come in and make instant impacts, and there's just
yeah.
not enough picks in the draft for
But
that.
that's why like I'd rather draft somebody and bring in a 34-year-old.
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'd rather do something like that
Bring
where
in somebody for a year or two, and then try to draft. Yeah,
because then it's like
yeah.
okay, well you give that year, okay, you can see what you got in these rookies, but you also have a guy that can come in and produce. I mean, even for the most part, like Bosa, I think produced for his contract. Like
until he got hurt towards the end of the season, like he was
like
awesome.
yeah. So that's the tough part with edge rushers, and I'm right there with you that go get as much proven talent as you can. Do it.
Yeah.
If you can trade this entire draft, if you go get proven players, the problem is one, you have to make the deal with these teams, and two, you have to make the right deal. The same way as you have to do in free agency, and it's like, well, if you're going to give stuff up, it has to be a proven guy. Yeah. I mean, it's tough to hit on everything. You're not going to do it. That's the one thing that I always say, no matter what, is you can look around the league. There's bad contracts everywhere. There's bad drafts. There's bad signings. Like, and we've even talked about it in the show, like even some of the top teams, the Rams, besides the past 2 years, they haven't drafted well. The Seahawks mismanaged
picks.
Like, yeah, Denver mismanaged their quarterback situation a few years ago. Like it's just that's the tough part with it. Is you're gonna miss, you're gonna hit. Bosa coming back at a fair deal would be okay since we're paying him next year. I'd be fine with Bosa. I just don't know if he fits exactly what this team is going to want to do. Like a guy like Mac fits better for me because he's more of a all-around guy. Jadeveon Clowney, same way, all-around guy, and has been able to stay healthier than Bosa has over a long period of time. And I think has also been more consistent year after year than Bosa had. So Bosa, if they bring him back, fine, but I'd rather go the way of bringing somebody else in when it comes to an older player on a 1-year deal, just to also change things up with the scheme change. So
yeah, agreed.
So do you got anything else on D-line at all?
No, I think we covered it.
Okay, next up, you want to hit a little bit of O-line, a little O-line. This is a big one. I think people are really not even appreciating, just under acknowledging how big this can be for the offensive line. That's the one thing. As soon as Brandon Beane and McDermott, they got Josh Allen. They saw 1 year of him behind a bad O-line, and what they say, they said, we got to go make some moves. They made some signings, and every time they've lost somebody, they went out and got somebody else. But this is also one where it seems like Brandon Beane and company know what they're doing when it comes to offensive line, because it seems like a lot of their picks and a lot of their pipeline are hits in a lot of them. So you could see another offseason like the David Edwards offseason, like that offseason with Connor McGovern, where they bring them in, guys that are, okay, they played, they've never been amazing, but they're good players, and you get them on good deals for the next 2 to 3 years, like you did with McGovern and Edwards, and you roll with them. Or you bring one guy in, whatever you do, and let either Alec Anderson or Cedric Van Granger battle it out for that last spot. So there's a lot of ways they can go with offensive line. Where do you want to start with offensive line?
Yeah, so there's a couple old friends that I wouldn't hate bringing back. First off, Wyatt Teller, draft pick of the Bills, was gonna get cut, and I remember saying, "Wow, Bean got I think it was a 6th-round pick for a guy who wasn't even gonna make the team. Like, what a wizard he is!" And then he turned into an All-Pro guard, but didn't necessarily see that coming. But he sounds like he's not going back to Cleveland. He posted a goodbye on Instagram to Cleveland yesterday. So I think Wyatt Teller would be really interesting at left guard. Then another guy, Ryan Bates, he was on the Bills for a while, couldn't quite find a starting spot, so they traded him to Chicago. He's a free agent and can play center and guard. Both of those are spots that could be open. I think they're going to find a way to bring Connor McGovern back. So I think Ryan Bates could be an interesting 6th, 7th O lineman. He can really play anywhere across the O line if needed. Center guard for sure, and he'd be affordable. So, what would you think about a little Buffalo reunion?
I think it'd be awesome. I mean, you mentioned quick about McGovern, you think they're going to try to bring back. That's, to me, I think the number one thing they should do this offseason is bring McGovern back. I don't think he'll be as much as we think. I think he'll be a good price for what he brings.
Mm-hmm.
Edwards, I'm fine letting walk. I mean, there are a lot of you could go big name hunting. You say, I don't want either of them and go get Tyler Linderbaum. I don't see that happening. But yeah, I mean, I would love to bring back Wyatt Teller for a year or two. Like, I think he's a guy that he's 31, over 31 now, but he's still a guy that, can play some good football, move to your left guard spot and go across from Osiris Torrance there. Especially
brought up, sorry to cut you off, just precaution that. Actually not. His market value projection is $10 million less than what David Edwards is being projected. Edwards projected at like 20 million. Teller's only projected at 10.
I mean, age might be part of it as well. I mean,
yeah, no, exactly.
Edwards is 28 right now, about to be 29, and Tyler's older, 31, about
already
to be 32.
Signed a big contract. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe he does though. I mean, the NFL has some shocking things happen, but Teller, I'd like. You also did mention Ryan Bates. I think that would just be another one where everybody loved him when he's here, and I don't think you can really go wrong there. One guy, I mean, the good part is I think that there's a lot of guys in this interior offensive line free agent class that I would be fine. I mean, even a guy who maybe struggled a little bit last year, John Simpson, if you want to go a guy that maybe with the Jets, maybe say, hey, change your system, go with him. Even some older guys as well. I mean, I know he's not older, but Tevin Jenkins is there. He had a very solid season last year for Cleveland as well. A guy I like coming out of the draft, Cade Mays, if you think that, hey, he didn't have the best season last year, but didn't have the worst, if you can steal him from Carolina to be a center. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of also, like I said, older guys as well. Pokic is another veteran that you could maybe bring in, another Cleveland guy. Cleveland might be losing their entire offensive line.
Yeah, all of them are free agents. Yeah. And the last guy I had, Isaac Seumalo, was a guard for the Steelers last year, played with the Bills' new offensive line coach, so could be a good connection there. He played some of his best football in Pittsburgh, someone who could slide in and probably right in that 8 to 10 million mark as well.
I mean, Joe Bitonio is also here. If you want to take another Cleveland Brown and just do that. I mean, he's older, but he's another guy who just like year after year, he does his job. Same with Kevin Zeitler, year after year, about to be 36, just does his job. Like
blocked for 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks last year.
Yeah. Greg Van Roten, another guy, 36, about to be 36. Like
maybe
you could go there. That. You could do that if you're like, hey, let's just bring in a cheap older guy.
We've done that. No, thank you.
Huh?
Wasn't he here before and pretty terrible?
Oh, I think he. No, was that a different Van Roten? It might have been for some reason, maybe. I thought the Van Roten that was here was a tackle, not a guard.
Yeah, you're right. It is the other Van Roten. Yeah,
but
he was a tackle and he was terrible.
Yeah,
not a common last name. But
yeah, no, not at all. So yeah, there's a lot of guys here that I'd be fine with. That's why, like, if they do move on from them, I'm fine with either drafting or getting a cheaper guy. Also because again. And yes, O-line's important. But if you want to then flip it and say, okay, we're going to go spend money on weapons and take a little bit of a hit on our offensive line, maybe take a risk on offensive line with draftees.
Wait, no,
we have Josh Allen.
It is the same guy.
Was he a tackle, though?
He was here in 2022. 1-year deal. He was like our it is the same guy. I'm not crazy about this anyway.
I thought he was a tackle though. That was the only
thing. It was a guard.
Huh, maybe I
played in 16 out of 17 games. Started 4.
Maybe
our whole offensive line got hurt in Miami.
Yeah. But yeah, O-line, there's a lot of things I can do that I won't be mad at, to be honest. Even if they do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And just bring in like random other guys to be backups and they say, we're going to rock with Van Granger and Alec Anderson. We're going to rock with it. And now that wouldn't be my choice, but I'd be fine with it. Like, I'd be like, okay, as long as you then go make moves elsewhere that can do that. And also, I would not be shocked if Van Granger, even if they do that and they say, we're just going to change center, I would not be shocked if Alec Anderson takes that job as well. I think it will be a
I mean, in the playoff game when McGovern went into the protocol, Alec Anderson came in as the backup center, so shows where he is on the depth chart.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe that was partly because Van Granger has battled injuries since he's gotten here, and they just wanted to go with a guy that they know who's been here a little bit
He hasn't
longer.
played.
Huh?
He's battled injuries. He hasn't played.
Well, he played week 18, but
Are you thinking of Grable?
no, Van Granger. Did he not play week 18?
Yeah, he did, but I don't think he's battled injuries. He hasn't played. How'd he get hurt?
I'm pretty sure every year he's been put on. I mean, maybe it was those fake.
Like training camp, he was hurt, but he was healthy the whole season.
Oh well, he was hurt to start his rookie year, and then I thought that he was on IR.
I know training camp he was banged up, but like he hasn't missed any games or anything. Well, games.
Oh, I thought that
He's
he was
been out
on
there
IR.
with the fellas.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But either way, like I said, I'd be fine if they even did that. And yeah, if they go defense first, if they say we're going to go defense and weapons and kind of neglect the offensive line a little bit, I'd be fine with that. You have Josh Allen, he can make up for it as long as you give him guys that can get open. Like you got to do one or the other. So, yeah, that's my opinion on offensive line. But maybe it'll be the same offensive line. Maybe they'll find a way to bring both of them back. Maybe it'll be
Dean
that.
has a way of doing that.
He does. Next up, though, we got 2 more positions for today. We'll probably get into others later on when it comes to depth with certain other positions. Linebacker. Linebacker's an interesting one because Milano's set to hit the market. You have Shaq Thompson set to hit the market. Dorian Williams is on the last year of his deal. Terrell Bernard battled injuries majorly last year. You still have Jerome Dreesen, who you know is coming back. But a lot of questions with how will these linebackers play? How will it be different? What are they going to look for in a linebacker? A lot of different ways they can go with this. Where do you want to go with this one?
Yeah, so they're going to need to kind of overhaul the whole linebacker room for the most part. Obviously, Bernard's not going anywhere, which is neither here nor there for this show. But Andreessen, who knows? Like, I wouldn't say his spot is locked for next year by any means. Dorian Williams also not going anywhere. I think this defense could be good for Dorian Williams. He can rush the passer more, do what he's good at. Maybe be that kind of like outside backer type position, not have to cover, just go see person, hit person, see ball, get ball. But they're going to have to bring in a lot more linebackers, and a couple that I'll suggest right off the rip. First one, Alex Singleton, or Single Nut, as his teammates call him. He might be expensive, but maybe they'll want to go get another expensive linebacker because these linebackers are going to be asked to do different things than they were in the past. So we're going to need a different group than we've had before. He was a stud for the Broncos this past year. So you would think he'd fit in well with Jim Leonhard's system. You hope they have a good relationship. Maybe that's somebody they want to go out and get. And then a couple other ones, couple of Devons, Devin Lloyd and Devin Bush. Devin Bush, obviously former first-round pick. Devin Lloyd has been decent in the league. I believe he was with the Jags last season. But both those guys can fit in 3-4 and kind of that interior linebacker spot. So those are 3 guys I'm interested in. Who knows if any of them or all of them end up here. But what do you think about those 3? And is there anybody you'd like to add?
Yeah, Singleton's a guy that I definitely like. Lloyd and Bush I would like. I just, again, it's going to come down to how much are they going to get. I mean, they're very good.
Bush will be that expensive. The other 2 maybe more.
Yeah, and that's the thing though, is like, I mean, it is also a pretty good linebacker class for free agents. Like it's pretty deep in that regard of like you can get guys to come plug and play. A guy I also want to throw out, another Alex Anzalone is another guy.
Yeah, I like him. Great hair.
Great hair. Yes, great hair. But he plays the game hard, and you've seen him in Detroit. He flies around the field. Yes, he can make some mistakes, but he's durable as well. I mean, since going to Detroit, he's had 1,000 snaps or more in three of those. Like he'll play, and he hopefully, knock on wood, if he's here, that he can stay healthy for you as well. Leo Chenal, I also saw that comment as well, coming from Kansas City. I mean, he's a younger guy, another guy that has really developed with Kansas City. And I mean, it's tough because Kansas City, man, they're going to get they're getting just depleted because they can't sign anybody. They just restructured Mahomes for $43 million, and they're still $15 million in the red. Like, they are in such a worse cap spot than we are. And it's crazy. So they're likely going to lose Leo Chenal, and I think he would fit perfectly in this defense. So I'd be a huge fan of him. What do you think of Chenal? And you already kind of said a little bit on Anzalone. So I guess Chenal. Whoa, I did not mean to do that. Oh, sorry, everybody.
That was terrifying.
What about a guy like Leo Chenal, or even a guy like Nakobe Dean? Two guys that are a little bit younger.
Yeah. I like Leo Chenal. I think he'd be a good fit. I think he's a good player, and whenever you can bring someone in from the Chiefs, that makes you feel a little bit good. Anzalone was another guy I had on my list as well. I think he's a stud. He plays really hard. The awesome hair too. That would just be fun to watch every week. Someone brought up Edmonds. Edmonds is a free agent.
Not officially, but
going to be. Yeah, expected to be. I wouldn't necessarily hate bringing him back if the number was right and it was cheap. I think he'd fit in well in a 3-4 here. So, and then who was the third guy you mentioned? I'm sorry, Chenal, Anzalone, Nakobe Dean. Yeah, Georgia guy, was awesome in college. Maybe he didn't quite fit in Philly in the beginning. Kind of found his stride a little bit more, but maybe a guy who a change of scenery is what he needs, and been on an awesome defense, won a Super Bowl, has that experience that the Bills like to bring in. So, yeah, they're definitely going to have to bring in multiple linebackers. And like you said, it's a strong class. So it's a good time to need linebackers.
Yeah. I also don't think Edmonds is going to get as much money as maybe we
I don't think he's going to get a lot of money at all.
Yeah, especially if a team's willing to eat some money just to get rid of him. That usually won't be the best sign for
so the Moneyball quote to David Justice, they're paying $7 million to play against them.
Yeah, like if you're a GM, that's one of the first questions is why did they cut you? Like what was the reasoning? So
teams don't go around cutting good players.
I mean, he could maybe some team goes, hey, we're gonna still give him $18 million a year. I mean, that could happen for all we know, but I'd be a little bit shocked. Joey did also though bring up taking a linebacker in the draft. With all these names that we've talked about, when it comes to linebacker, do you think it'd be worth it to go spend on a linebacker in this new defense, or do you think it would be better to maybe just say, hey, we'll draft somebody?
I mean, CJ Allen's a stud. I think that's who he's talking about. I would be surprised if they took a linebacker in the first round. Obviously, we won't know until free agency shakes out, see where the holes are. I just think there's bigger – I just think there's like other spots. I'd be surprised if they took a linebacker. Who knows? Maybe they sign Alec Pierce and they bring in edges and D tackles and they shore up the O-line. It's like, let's go get a first round linebacker. That would surprise me. And it's not something like Bean. I feel like linebacker is a position he sees pretty well. He's found good value with linebackers. I don't remember him taking one in the first or second round. Correct me if I'm wrong. Bernard was 3, Williams was 3.
I thought Bernard was 5.
I thought Bernard was 3.
I'm
pretty sure he was 3.
No, he was 3. He was 3.
I remember because I watched it on the treadmill at the hotel in San Diego.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, Edmonds was a first rounder.
Yeah, Edmonds was a first rounder. That's
but that was also his first draft, and you wanted.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
For a team that's like you wanted to go get your quarterback on the offense and your quarterback on the defense.
Quarterback on the defense. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways they can go with linebacker. A lot of them. I think I'd rather go also through free agency, even if it's like. I mean, maybe unless it. No, I guess not. Sorry, mid thought. I just changed my mind. I was gonna say even if it's going after 36-year-old or 37-year-old Demario Davis or Bobby Wagner, I take that back. I'd rather go draft somebody. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways. I mean, they could do that. They could say, hey, these guys are still producing, and we just want to bring them in and win a Super Bowl with them. Sure. So yeah, there's a lot of ways they can go with linebacker. There's still good. I mean, the tough part about what we're doing now as well is there's going to be a lot like Edmonds is a perfect example. There's going to be a lot of guys that are going to get cut that we don't know yet that are going to be in this pool. So yeah, well, there'll be names added. No shot Milano comes back. I don't think there's no shot at all. I think there's actually a pretty good chance he does if the money's right. It just depends what his market is.
And how he would fit in this new system. I think Milano fits in any system, but I would also be kind of surprised that if he comes back.
I don't know. Yeah. I think though, if he doesn't have a good market, why would he want like been your whole career? If you're already getting paid by if
he has that cool house.
Yeah, like, I would just be a little shocked if he decided to go cheap somewhere else than just stay in Buffalo for cheap. I mean, for all we know, though, the Bills could say no, we don't even want you. So, I mean,
Yeah, I agree with Eric. I think Milano was great this
oh yeah,
season. There were times where he looked like old Milano. There were times where it looked like he lost a step, but that'll happen.
yeah.
I wouldn't hate him coming back at all. Just be interested to see where they see him in the system.
What's the most important of a 3-4 defense? Plugging the holes with a linebacker and Allen is that man. See, but that's tough though. Is it depends. Like it's kind of a blanket statement though of like, oh, what's best for a 3-4 because it changes no matter what. Like even in 4-3, like what's best for 4-3, it really depends on how they're playing, like with the style of defense they're playing in that 3-4 or 4-3. Like if they're super aggressive, their D line might be their most, or might be their linebackers that is their most important piece. If they're not aggressive, maybe it is their defensive line because they just need to get pressure up front. Same with 4-4-3. Like McDermott, it was very important to have good safeties and have guys on the back end where a 4-3 elsewhere maybe it is linebacker. So I mean, we don't know. I do think though, I mean, linebacker is huge. I still don't. I'm not as far down on like a guy like Bernard as I think a lot of people are to be like, hey, you can just
I
get a
think he
guy
just has
next
to be
to him.
healthy.
Yeah. So I mean, I would like CJ Allen. I'll do it. Like I have no problem. I'd be excited about it. Wouldn't be my number one choice necessarily, but I'd be excited about it. So we'll see though. We'll see with linebackers and maybe Josh Allen can. I mean, I'd love for him to be able to play both ways, man. I mean, he's got the size to play both sides, that's for sure. He could definitely suit up at linebacker, and I just don't know if he's that type of athlete to be a linebacker. He's definitely a great athlete, but can he be a linebacker? Probably not. Last position though that we have, safety. This one is kind of funny because last year people wanted to safety talking about, oh, we need another safety because I don't trust Cole Bishop. Well, we have Taylor Rapp, so we just need one more. Now it's, well, we have Cole Bishop, who we trust, and we don't trust Taylor Rapp. A lot of people, including myself, expect him to get cut. Where are you going to go with that? You could, I'm going to throw my first name out there. You could say, hey, we just let go of a former Ram that we brought in from LA. What if we did the same thing and brought in a younger LA Ram safety?
Wow.
Cameron Curl, who is a phenomenal player, obviously has been on winning football teams as well in LA. He's going to be my first guy I bring up. So Cam Curl is going to be one that I'm going to bring up. The other one that I want to bring up is Jalen Hawkins. If you can find a way to steal another guy from a division rival who I think can come in and he can very well play both defend the run and pass well. So I think he could be a guy that you look at as well and say, hey, you want to come kind of beat your old team if they don't want to offer you as much as we're offering you. He's 28, about to be 29 and before the season, around the season. So what do you think about either of those names?
Yeah, I think they both fit in pretty well. But like you said, we have to find a running mate for Cole Bishop. Like we saw when Poyer went in there, a player of that style, Cole Bishop was allowed to be a lot more free, and he played the best football he played so far in the Bills uniform. So we need to find somebody who can come down and defend against the run. Bishop can do that, but he's at his best when he's playing a bit more free and having maybe a guy a bit closer down to the box. So a safety like that, I think both of those guys can do that. It'll be interesting to see what the safety position looks like. We don't have to have this like super specific, like fit in this one box Sean McDermott type of safety anymore. So it'll be interesting to see how that opens up. And I'm excited to watch that position group play next season. But yeah, they need somebody next to Cole Bishop because in theory we have our guy for the next however many years. But yeah, safety I would say is a top two free agent position. I don't think they would draft somebody, but again, see how free agency goes. Maybe they do, but yeah, I'd definitely like to see them bring in a strong safety.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind drafting just because I do like a lot of safeties in this draft. But you also know me; I like safeties in every. I mean, last year you saw me pounding the table to go get a specific safety that we would not be having this problem if they would have taken him. But yeah, you know that I when I watch safeties, I love looking at who could be a potential safety. So I'll probably have some names this year that I'll end up loving and saying, no, just go get this guy in the draft instead. But there are a lot of names, like you said, that are going to be viable options to bring in. I mean, maybe, like we said, there'll be more names that come in that will get cut. There'll be some trade rumor names that also come up. I saw Buda Baker, Buda Baker brought up again. I saw Mika Fitzpatrick we saw brought up as well. Like, there's going to be a lot of names. I also see here as well, move Teron Johnson to safety. I don't think, and this was the guy also, by the way, I was talking about. I was pounding the table to go get him, but sorry, I regress.
I can't believe they didn't listen to you.
Yeah, they didn't do it. Teron Johnson, one, speed-wise, I don't think he has enough anymore to stay at safety. And two, I know that's like almost the default for a lot of these older guys. Like you've seen Jalen Ramsey go back to safety and be able to do it, but it is a difference. Like there is a good sizable difference for a guy that hasn't been doing it his whole career. Like maybe for a guy like Cam Lewis, yeah, it's not that big of a deal because he's been practicing both ways the entire career.
Also a lot bigger than Teron Johnson, and like our safe. Ideally, the safety would be better against the run, and that's not Teron's strong suit.
Yeah, I mean, 3 years ago, maybe it was a strong suit, but not anymore. Like maybe they try it, but I think they would rather just keep him as. I mean, maybe they caught him. We have talked about that. Maybe they get rid of him. But if they keep him, I could definitely see them saying, "Hey, you and Cam Lewis are going to be our two nickel players or nickel guys," and maybe Cam Lewis starts and they say, Teron, you're just taking a back seat here, and we'll use you when we need you. We'll go out there when we have double nickel out there, or not double nickel.
Dime.
Yeah. Hey, you saw me catch it as soon as I said it too.
Hey, Brett Favre didn't know what it was, and he was in the NFL.
That's true. But yeah, like you could do that. So I don't see Teron moving back to safety. I mean, maybe, like I said, maybe the behind the scenes they're saying it, but I just think there's so many guys. I mean, maybe you go and you say we're going to take both Chiefs guys that are in free agency, Leo Chenal, and we're going to take him at linebacker. And we're going to go get Brian Cook at safety, and just say F you to the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to take both of your guys. It could happen. I mean, he was phenomenal last season for them, absolutely phenomenal. So, but he's going to get paid as well. Thoughts on the dude from Oregon? I actually am blanking right now. Oregon.
I know they have a really good tight end.
Why am I blanking? Oh, you talking about why am I blanking right now?
The only guy I can think of who's the top draft pick from Oregon is their tight end.
Dylan. I can't. I'm not pronouncing that name. You want to get a little bit like the Eagles, bring in some white safety duo there. Heineman.
Well,
I mean, he. It's just like, are you going to want to draft a safety that early? Like, that's the question. I mean, if he pans out, of course you. If he's good enough, of course you want him. But I guess it would depend. Like, it's similar to that situation where you said with linebacker. Like, if they say, okay, we're going to in free agency and trade, we're going to fill our receivers, we're going to go get our linebackers, we're going to go get our defensive line, all there. And yeah, we maybe just depth guys or guys that we want to take shots on at those positions we'll take in the draft. And early we'll take safety. They could do that. But that's another position where, like, besides Bishop, have they taken a safety early? I mean, they haven't really had to, I guess, for 8 years.
Yeah, they didn't have to.
The
best ones in the league forever.
But even before them, like, they didn't take a safety high that I remember. Like, before Poyer really said, hey, this is my position. I mean, Hyde
Jarius Byrd?
Huh?
Jarius Byrd?
Yeah, which was at this point, like 15 years ago at this point? Like, it's maybe even longer. I don't know. But, I mean, yeah, I actually haven't started too much on my safeties yet, which is bad on me. But I do know that this is another safety draft class, though, that is a little bit has some good depth there in the first 3 rounds. Now, it's not going to be a draft where I think you're looking at that 6th round and say this is going to be our guy next to Cole Bishop. It's not going to be that type of draft. So, yeah, I'd personally rather go sign somebody just because, again, there's so many names here that I think are viable options for you to bring in.
Yeah.
Joey, I'm a little bit confused. Are you talking about Surtain,
like Patrick Surtain, like defensive player of the year?
Patrick
cool,
Surtain is not leaving Denver.
That'd be cool
One, because of money, and two, because of how good he is. Like, you would have to give up at least 2 first rounders for him, at least. I mean, Sauce Gardner just got 2 first rounders out of him. I would assume that Surtain would be a lot more. It'd be awesome, but like, if you're going to give up 2 or 3 first rounders for a player, and go get Myles Garrett, go get Max Crosby, go get a pass rusher. Like, that's where I'm at that point. Go get Justin Jefferson. I just don't know if safety's worth going to trade for, or not safety, corner is worth going to trade for. I mean, Surtain is a heck of a player, but I don't know if I'd want to do that. PJ from Denver.
PJ Locke. He was like a backup safety. For them. He played really well against us in the playoffs, actually.
Yeah. I mean, there's your connection there with.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also
probably be inexpensive.
You could go get Simone Biles' husband, Jonathan Owens.
Isn't he still on the Bears?
He's a free agent, and if that's their answer, I'll be a little bit concerned there. But I mean, there's just, I mean, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. What about him? He played well for where did he end up at the end of the year? Chicago.
Yeah, and he played pretty well, actually.
Andre Sisco, shout out Syracuse. Lance loves him as well. I'm a fan of him. Had a bit of a down year with the Jets, but then again, who didn't have a down year with the Jets? So
yeah, it's not that bad. He didn't have any interceptions. None of them had any interceptions.
None of them did. Like, sorry, I'm just reading Joey's comment here. They said the Raiders said that they would want a Michael Parsons Hall. Do it, sure. Like, what was it? Two firsts? No,
it would be like 2 firsts, and it would be 2 firsts and Ed Oliver.
Sure,
because they did 2 firsts in Kenny Hill. I'm not doing that. I don't know if I'm doing that for Max Crosby.
I would do it if it wasn't so much dead cap from Ed Oliver as well.
Yeah, that's the other part.
But if you want to give up, like, now here's one. What about like 2 firsts and Deion Walker?
I mean, I like that better.
And that's a tough one, where it's like, because it is a guy that people have high hopes for. I don't know. I mean, what we'll do within the next few weeks, I promise, I'll come up with the questions. I'm going to put Lance and Scott. I'll do a this or that questioning, and I'll pull up either 2 players, 2 scenarios, this or that. What would you rather have the Bills do? Joey, we'll be on the lookout for some comments, because I know you'll have some good ones as well. So if you that week, be sure to be ready, because we'll do some this or that, and see what Scott and Lance have to say about that. I got nothing else for safeties as well, by the way. Do you got anything else on safeties?
No, I mean, you covered it.
Yeah, obviously there'll be way more players we talk about over the next few weeks. There'll be a lot to talk about with free agency coming up. Right around the corner. What is it? March? It's usually on Thursday,
right around the 15th, 13th, something like that.
I feel like
it's less than a month. It's less than a month.
Less than a month. So we'll be plenty to talk about. AJ, by the way, is a free agent. Joey as well. You can't not trade AJ Epinesa. He is a free agent this offseason. But I agree with you. I'd rather give up AJ Epinesa if they could. But yeah, we'll talk about plenty of other news coming up. We'll obviously see what goes on in the NFL as well. Lance will be back next week. Want to give one more sponsor or shout out to our sponsors: Big Tree Inn, Wingnuts, Buffalo, 71 Slicks Barbershop, Lancaster Indoor Bounce House. If you're looking for a bounce house, if you're looking to get some food, if you're looking for a haircut, check out any of those 4 places and you will not be disappointed. So, yeah, thanks for tuning in though. As I mentioned, Lance will be back next week. And as always, go Bills.
Go Bills.